Should they stay or should they go? Buffalo Bills free agent edition. Along with the Sabres' recent collapse after the All-Star break. All of this and more on this edition of the Buffalonian Podcast. All right, let's go. We are back with the Buffalonian Podcast. I'm Joe Callie. As always, I'm joined by none other than Dom Loss. And Dom, coming off of another week of the Bills off season, it was Pro Bowl weekend. We saw the most prestigious NFL award, NFL game. They played Madden head-to-head. I feel like we hit a new low with that one. But the Sabres also last night were both at that game. Just dumpster fire there.
I had to ask you a question about the Sabres.
Okay, all right.
Have you been to a game without me this year? Because I've been to one without you. I went with my brother Patrick to this Kraken game and they got killed. I'm 95% sure I'm like 0-4, 0-5, and I don't think they have. No, I'm sorry. I'm like one. I'm 1-4 because they did win that Tampa Bay game that you and I went to.
Yes,
time.
And the Red Wings game. Tage had the Hattie last year. Remember that?
I'm talking about this year though.
Oh no. Okay.
This year we went to the Red Wings game with 4 of us and we lost.
Yes, this year that was my first game I've gone to without you, I think.
But I was told. So you have to go to a game without me in attendance and see if like it's just me.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we'll have to see. It could be. Very well could be, honestly. I mean, again, we'll get into that the second half of the show, but it's just nothing fantastic out of it here with the Buffalo Sabres, unfortunately. So anyway, we're talking Bills. You know, we'll have a Super Bowl pregame show coming up this weekend for you. We're going to do that around Friday or Saturday. We'll figure out a time. We'll let you know. We'll announce it on social media, on X, whatever you want to call it, Twitter, anywhere. But right now, in this Bills offseason, we're in week 2, 3, something like that of the offseason? Counting down the days until the season starts again, but got to be week 3. Just quick, we're going to get into some free agents. Should they stay? Should they go? But first, I think we should bring up some additions to the Bills coaching staff. What do you think?
Couldn't agree more.
All righty. Well, Ronald Curry is now the quarterback's coach. Jamil, I can't say his last name. How do you say it? Addae. Addae is the cornerback's coach from the University of Miami. That's the photo they have up there.
The
U. And then Christian Taylor is the defensive quality control coach. Whatever that means.
Interesting enough.
Yeah. So 3 new additions to the Bills coaching staff. They've been making coaching moves so far this offseason. That's been the big stories coming out from week to week with Ken Dorsey and why am I blanking on his name? Bobby Babish.
You mean Joe Brady?
Yeah, what did I say?
Ken Dorsey.
Oh, well, there is news with Ken Dorsey as well. But anyway, Joe Brady and Bobby Babish are the offensive and defensive coordinators, and now we have Curry, Addae, and Taylor. I'm butchering that name. It's like you and Babish can't get it right. But what do you think? How do you feel about these coaching hirings?
Well, we still, I believe, as of right now, do not have a defensive line coach because Eric Washington left. And I mean, there's been speculation that they would potentially maybe just their assistant defensive line coach Marcus West, who's been very impressive. Maybe it's him, but we haven't got an announcement about that. But yeah, we did talk about how it would be good to have different eyes.
Yes.
In the building. I think a bigger kind of maybe fallout from some of these decisions is John Butler, the passing game coordinator and defensive backs coach for the Bills left. Well, from last year left. We don't know where.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it seemed like the writing was kind of on the wall earlier today when they hired Addae to be the cornerbacks coach.
Yeah, they kind of had that coming.
So I don't know if it's another Eric Washington situation where he got passed over.
Yeah, maybe someone got a truck and he didn't. He got bitter about it.
Well, he got passed over by Babish to be the defensive coordinator, maybe. So maybe he doesn't see himself as a candidate to be promoted within the organization anymore, and he has to go outside. Kind of similar, honestly, it's kind of funny, similar to what Ronald Curry was happening with the Saints. He was with the Saints for a long time under Sean Payton.
He was, yeah.
Wide receivers coach. When Michael Thomas went off, then he was the quarterbacks coach. Now I believe his title was like passing game and all that, passing game coordinator and
just getting strung along, if you will.
Yeah, and he got passed over for the offensive coordinator position last year, and obviously that didn't go well because they fired their offensive coordinator. And that apparently they offered him the wide receiver coach position. He declined and wanted this opportunity as the quarterbacks coach. So I like it from it's a different voice. Obviously, this is I think a coveted position in the NFL because Josh Allen's the quarterback. Is now 2 times over that the quarterback's coach has then become the offensive coordinator within this organization, Ken Dorsey and Joe Brady. So a success rate of 100% of getting, within a couple of years, getting an offensive coordinator position.
Yeah, getting that opportunity.
Even Ken Dorsey gets a second one.
Right, coming off of the firing midseason, he goes to work with the creep in the Browns. So we'll see how that goes.
He's
for
a fantastic human being.
He's a fantastic human being. He did break his silence a little bit on the Bills stuff, though. He did make a comment on it and just basically said, I went back and reviewed. That's all he really said.
No, he said it was the head coach's decision.
Well, yeah, we knew that, though.
No, I mean,
that is exactly what McDermott
said.
He said it. And McDermott, if you go back to the quote, it was my decision and mine alone.
Well,
so,
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. It's not like getting McDermott in trouble. But
No, right. Yeah.
I feel like they kind of go out of the way of saying that. But no, I think we talked about this literally last week about the quarterback coach position. You want to get a fresh eyes.
Yeah.
Not kind of. There's a lot of good quality, assistant coaches still in the Bills organization, but I don't think it was been the right decision to just hire from within. I think getting another fresh eyes. Robert Curry, not Bobby Curry, our buddy. Ronald Curry.
I know. We're all over the place. New setup, new everything. I don't know if you could tell, but go ahead.
Ronald Curry and Joe Brady did spend time together with the New Orleans Saints, so that's kind of it shows, I think, that McDermott's letting Brady kind of pick who he wants to be on the offensive staff, and I'm excited for it. Again, this guy has had experience with Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, so it's looks like the offense is going to, maybe it's going to be similar in some aspects, but I think we're starting to see Joe Brady and get,
his guys
to kind of put his offense on the table.
Yeah, and that's something we've said could be interesting to see all season is when Joe Brady gets a full off season with this Bills offense, what are we going to see next season? Are we going to see you heard Josh Allen say it, we're going to do simple better. And that might be something we've said at redundancy for the past year and a half with Ken Dorsey, I would say. They're just too complicated. A lot of things were too complicated. They're going to do simple a lot better, per Josh Allen, per the words of the quarterback. So we're going to hope that stays true. But Joe Brady looks to be getting his guys in there, and I think that is, like you said, going to lead to that happening down the stretch, which will be great.
Yeah, and then, again, just with Adai, has a lot of experience in college at the University of Georgia, at the University of Minnesota, the last 2 years at the U. There's a pretty good safety named Cameron Kitchens who may be available at pick 28, so who knows? Maybe that's safety is a need, as we're going to talk about in a second here at the free agent. So
yes,
and then Christian Taylor. That must have just happened because I didn't see a lot about it, but he's a William and Mary guy. So
yeah,
Joe Brady's a William Mary. But he's a defensive assistant. But Sean McDermott's also a William Mary guy, so
yeah. Listen,
adding to the tree of William and Mary with it's like McDermott's now separated himself so much from the Panthers, from his time with the Panthers, now being 7-8 years, that he just has to go all the way back now to William Mary.
Because the Bills staff was almost Panthers 2.0 at one point with how many how much staff was from there,
and before we get into the free agents, Leslie Frazier got hired as the defensive assistant in Seattle.
Oh. Look at that! I didn't know that actually.
Mike McDonald. Donald. Wow.
You have Mike McDaniel on the mind.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Yeah.
It's bad name day for me. But he went from the defensive coordinator from Baltimore to the head coach of Seattle, and there we go. I do have one question, completely unrelated, Bills related.
Okay.
Kind of shooting off the cuff here.
Yeah, on the top of your head, what's up?
Ben Johnson decides to say no to the Commanders. Just doesn't want to be a head coach. Do you think that was a good move or a bad move?
I think that was a bad move. I don't know. I feel like it could be considered either or. Like the Commanders aren't really showing they're going a lot of places. Bieniemy's not coming back as their offensive coordinator. For me, that's a big red flag. What's going on there? All that stuff. But I think it could have been a mistake on his end. Why? What do you think?
No, I think there's been like really a lot of talk about it. I think Washington on the Athletic like had like a hit piece on him.
Yeah.
About how he like screwed them over.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of respect that. I mean, if you're in a stable situation, obviously he's in a good situation, calling plays for those skills position players, and obviously he's very good at his job because he's very coveted. I'm not. I would have expected if it was Washington under the Snyder ownership group, but now with Josh Harris, I don't know. New ownership, you'd think new ownership means they'd like to spend money. The number 2 picks, you kind of in a way get your pick at quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I think if I was I guess listen, if you're comfortable being a coordinator, sure. I don't know what I guess he's betting on not only himself, but he's betting on the coaching market that there'll be more better jobs.
Yeah.
With maybe Dallas coming available, with McCarthy maybe on the last he is on the last year of his contract. Heck, maybe he thinks the Bills are going to come available. But,
maybe. You never know.
I don't know. I think especially Washington, you kind of would have expected to kind of be in like a rebuild, so you would have had time to build your team. Like,
Yeah, you wouldn't have been under the microscope so quick. You would have kind of.
Lovie Smith got fired after one season of Houston because that was an awful situation. Like, I think he would have had time, and I think he would have. But listen, some people just aren't ready to be head coaches, and he probably got a significant raise from Detroit. I know it's completely off topic, but I just found that to be a little. You think you want to. There's only 32 of those jobs in the entire world. Do you think when you're coveted for one, you would? I could understand him saying no to like the Panthers because that's a bad job, but like Washington, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of positive. Now I don't know because I just wrote a hit piece on him. So like,
yeah, well, you never know, but
maybe there was some stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah, you have the new-ish owner looking to turn things around. You could have been a part of that. Like, I feel like it was kind of a mistake. But getting back to the Bills here, there's a long list, 22 exactly, free agents that the Bills could either keep or just let walk. So we're going to go through one by one real quick here. And just off the cuff, yes or no, what do you think?
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, with the new mics, that's now really fascinated.
Yeah, I mean, just a disclaimer for the listeners out there, too, if you can't already tell. We are starting to fiddle with a new setup here. We're getting away from some older technology, starting to move into some newer stuff. So we're learning, too. So this is an experience for all of us right now, this first time with it. So bear with us if there's anything goofy happening. But as of now, I think it sounds all right. We'll see. We'll see in post. We'll have to fix it in post, like every director in Hollywood says. Fix it in post. But player number 1 on the chopping block, free agency, Micah Hyde. As you said, safety issue in Buffalo. We're going to need some depth.
Great player. I just personally think he's actually just going to straight up retire because of the neck issues.
The neck stingers.
Being 33. So to make this go as short as possible, I think it's time to let go.
Yeah, let go. And again, I agree. I think he's just going to retire. He's not going to go anywhere.
I mean, they have a choice whether they want to cut Poyer and just go completely like with the Band-Aid and go fresh, or I just think they can't bring both of them back.
No, they're not young enough anymore, unfortunately, and that's the tough part about it. Daquan Jones, number 2. Kind of mentioned him last week in a would you rather situation, but
yeah, I'm bringing him back.
Yeah, I think you need him. I agree.
No defensive tackles with Oliver. I think he's a real difference maker. I also think his market may not. I mean, he's 32, so maybe his market isn't that big, but it also could be a situation where 32 looking for that last big 3-year contract. So I don't know about that, but 1 year, $7 million, $8 million, like I'd write that off right now.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Leonard Floyd, he says, pay me the money if you want me to play here. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't pay you the money, so I think that's a walk, unfortunately.
Walk, yeah, 100% walk.
Because as great as he was a great service this year. You do have an expensive Von Miller contract in the same position who might be coming back to normal, so you might not lose too much there.
I don't know if it's much of that, other than he's 31, so he's going to be 32 during the season. He's had 3 straight seasons now of 9+ sacks this season, finally getting over that 10 sack threshold. And there's going to be someone that's going to pay him 3 years, $30 million for that production. And he's more than earned the to test the market.
Yeah.
But I just don't think the market's going to help the Bills re-sign him.
Yeah.
Not a bad player. Like, again.
Right. He had a great year again. Like you said, broke the barrier of 10 on the sack count. So, unfortunately, let walk there. Our buddy Tim Settle. What do you think?
I'm leaning walk.
I'd say 75-25 walk.
75-25. It matters what happens if Daquan. Like, if Daquan just leaves.
Then we got to bring him back.
Because I'm up patch this together. Jordan Phillips, I'm all the way out.
Yeah, no way, yeah.
So I think he actually might retire. He insinuated that potentially in his end of season press conference. So Tim Settle, for me, I think 75-25 is the perfect way. Like, I could see a scenario where they bring him back, like on a really cheap deal, just so they have someone familiar with the system, and
you can get new guys to plug in eventually.
He's shown that he's at least depth quality, but like again, and also when you compare him to Puna Ford, I know I'm skipping Tyler Mitakevich. Sorry. But
I don't think
Puna Ford, I think, is better than Tim Settle, but I think the Bills value Tim Settle more than Puna Ford. So
yeah, no, I would agree with you. I mean, I would skip Tyler Mitakevich too because I think he's a walk.
I would say Mitakevich, I'm out.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's brought back on like a really cheap 1 year, like $1 million
just as
deal.
a depth guy to ride the bench.
Captain, special teams, that kind of jazz.
No, absolutely. Jordan Phillips, I'm out on as well. Mitakevich out on. Puna Ford keep. I think. What do you think? Like, in general?
I think, but I just don't think the Bills view him. I don't think the Bills view him as that.
He's not their starter guy.
I don't even think it's that. He couldn't get. He was getting scratched at occasional for Linval Joseph and Tim Settle and Jordan Phillips for that matter. So I don't know. I don't see it.
Yeah, we'll get to Linval a little bit later here, but we're gonna go Dane Jackson next, cornerback. Keeper, let go.
Again, if he gets like a Levi Wallace type of contract, I think you gotta let him go because that's too rich for me. But yeah, if we get brought back cheap, kind of again be that third, fourth outside corner. You see what you do with Bristol Douglas. See what happens with Trey White, Kyrie Elam's kind of. I know there's a lot of names at corner, but there isn't a lot of like.
Yeah.
I guess guarantee. I mean, you'd think Benford and Douglas would be the starters. Maybe you flip Elam. Maybe you cut Trey White.
Trey White, his injury, you don't know how he's
I just think
Dane
Dane Jackson's a perfect depth corner, and we all know injuries happen.
And he did come in and play very serviceably at the end of the season. So
and
I mean,
injuries happen.
Yeah.
as you saw at the end of this year. So
throughout the entire season on defense. But yeah, I agree with you on that. So Terrell Dodson is next. He really came into his own this season. That's a tough let it walk for me. I don't think he's I don't want him to walk, but I don't know what the Bills do in that situation.
I agree. I think he's a walk based off the market. Like, I think there's going to be kind of a niche market for him.
Yeah.
He showed the ability to play at a high level. I know he was PFF second highest graded linebacker. I know we don't buy that.
He was number one for a while. Right?
Yeah,
he held the number one title for quite some time.
He was up there, and he played really well. Credit to him. But I just think Terrell Bernard, Matt Milano, I think Dorian Williams, maybe Bale Inspector. I think all four of those guys are on the roster, and they're probably going to expect Williams and Spector to kind of take more of the Dotson role and take a jump. So I just think that they're going to try and replace him within. I just think I think someone will pay him like $6 million, and the Bills will be out.
Yeah, no, definitely, I agree. Taylor Rapp,
I was a hard out.
I was too
until like 3 weeks left in the year,
and he started playing
and
well.
He started when they put Poyer in the linebacker spot, and they kind of had him as the third. Like, I thought he made some nice plays. Obviously, he had the interception that he ended up ending the season on because he got injured on.
Yeah, but he laid it all on the line.
Again, 1.177 this year. Again, if we get that kind of contract, I think I would bring him back just because, again, a lot of unknown. It's kind of a little bit like the defensive tackle situation. A lot of unknown with the safety situation. So getting a guy that's been in the system for at least a year would not be the worst in the world.
Yeah. No, I got you there. 100% agree with you on Taylor Rapp. He gave it all. He gave at the end of the season. That was it. He was done after that interception, but he ended it on that. Next, Trent Sherfield. This is going to get interesting.
Out.
You let him go right away?
Not even a question.
All right.
Are you keeping Trent Sherfield?
I don't know. Do you keep Gabe Davis? We're going to talk about him in a minute.
I'm asking you about Trent Sherfield right now.
Well, if you lose Gabe Davis, you keep Trent Sherfield, in my opinion, maybe.
I think you just I'm not going to say about anything about Davis, but get Trent Sherfield out of here. He's
all right.
trash.
All right. He is. He's not great, but like,
dude,
if you need a pinch.
What do you mean? He had an opportunity to play against Kansas City and didn't make a single play.
You got a point. He did his best Gabe Davis impression out there. So.
Yeah, but Gabe probably at least makes one of those deep ball catches.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It was like a poor man's Gabe Davis.
It was.
Yeah, no, get
him out. He's out.
Respectfully.
Gone.
Lador.
All
there.
right.
Walk through it.
David Edwards, guard.
Oh, keep. I really like David Edwards. I think he was really good as the sixth offensive lineman.
Listen, the offensive line this season was the best it's been in a long time.
I look from this perspective. I liked him as the sixth offensive line, and the Bills lucked out. Like, none of their 5 starting offensive linemen got injured. Missed a game. Like, I'm just saying right now, this isn't even a jinx. That ain't happening again.
Yeah.
Like, that's rare. And having a quality backup in David Edwards in case one of those guys in the interior gets banged up. Yeah, yes.
No, yeah, I would keep 100%. As I said, offensive line depth wise is the best it's been. A guy misses, you don't miss a beat really with David Edwards there. So I was happy with that. Damian Harris, running back, got injured early in the season. We were excited to see him at the start of the season be that replacement for Nyheim Hines after his unfortunate jet skiing accident. But we were at the game where he ran 45 times. We were like, okay, this guy's going to bring some juice. Gets injured, misses the majority of the season. What do you think?
Out. Nope.
Gone. Yeah, I agree. He's out.
Same thing of Joseph.
Linval out.
Yeah.
Linval Joseph out. AJ Epinesa. This is who I want to keep. I'm going to be honest with you. I want to keep Epinesa. He's shown so much promise in this past season. Like he could grow into a great player after, a couple years of mediocrity and just not showing a lot of improvement. He really did this season. I think you keep him. What do you think?
It's gonna come down to his market, to be honest.
I think he's too expensive now with the season he had.
I think I would be in the 3-year, 15, 6, 5 to 6 mil per year, kind of. But it gets 7 to 8, I'm kind of out.
Yeah.
He was really good, but he didn't stay healthy. Unfortunately, I know that was kind of a freak injury, but
it was. Yeah.
At the end of the day, he didn't, and so I don't know how comfortable I feel of the Bills kind of gambling on 12-game sample size and paying a guy $8 million. So
yeah,
I lean towards out just based on if we think what the market's going to be. I just think that's a tough sell. But going to Shaq Lawson, I'm out on him too.
Yeah.
I just think they just need a restart.
You kind of got to rebuild, the defense.
I'm just going to say this right now. They're going to spend significant assets on the defensive line.
They need to.
They're losing.
Look at how they played in the playoffs.
Well,
that was garbage against Kansas City.
They are losing 60% of their snaps that people play in the. Well, I shouldn't say they're losing. People that are going to free agency they're 60%. So
yeah,
But I think Shaq and Jordan Phillips. Thank you for coming back, but I think you can improve those spots. Kingsley Jonathan, I think, could step into that role.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Latavius Murray.
Yeah, I'm out. Really good first half. Really
poor second half of the
mediocre
season.
To poor second half. I just sorry. I know I don't.
Well, Ty Johnson took a spot.
Yeah,
just
talking about Ty Johnson. I'd say keep Ty Johnson.
Let Tave walk. Keep Ty Johnson. I'm on board with that.
I'm keep Cam Lewis. I like him as kind of that nickel and a safety and special teamer. I just think he has a solid role. I think he's solid.
Do you keep Kyle Allen as a backup quarterback, or do you let him walk and get another one?
That's a tough question.
Do you feel comfortable with Kyle Allen leading the season?
Well, no.
Right.
I don't think a lot of people would say they're comfortable with their backup quarterback. I would draft one on the day 3 and compete. I guess
Sam Hartman, Notre Dame guy over there.
I'm not saying I don't think Sam Hartman's very good. So no.
Yeah.
I'm actually out on Sam Hartman other than some of the people. I just don't think he's very good. I don't think. It's just is. That's another take. I just don't think he will translate very well to the NFL level. So I just think they should get a day 3 guy compete. And whoever wins the job. And then Quentin Morris, I think, can keep tight end 3. That's whatever to me.
Gabe Davis,
very similar, in my opinion, to AJ Epinesa. If the market isn't quite what it is, I'm more than okay bringing him back for $7, maybe $8 million. But if it's 10 plus, I'm out, and I think it's gonna be 10 plus. I'm sorry, this guy has had had the 4 touchdown game in the postseason, has had really good touchdown production throughout his entire career, and he's known as a very good vertical threat and run blocker, and those guys get paid. MVS signed a 3-year, $30 million contract.
Yeah, and he was dropping balls in the end zone.
That was $10 million. I just don't think the Bills have $10 million to do that.
No. I agree with you.
And he's only 25, so he's young.
Young, yeah. I as much as Gabe Davis has done so great for the Bills, I think he was the best when you had Emmanuel Sanders in there as well, Cole Beasley in there as well. When he's your number 2 option, I don't think he's come through in the way that you expected. Maybe that's not on him. Maybe that's on the offense, the system in general, right? You're switching it up.
I just think he's what's it called? I think the best way to describe him is I think he's a limited route runner.
Yes, I would agree with that, and I think you let him walk, save some money. Maybe this is where the draft wide receiver can get interesting. So
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So those are the Bills free agents there. Sign or let walk. A lot of them were let walk, so save some money.
Next pod, we'll probably discuss who should they maybe cut, who should they maybe...
Yeah,
I don't know.
Someone who's not a free agent necessarily, what's going to go on with them. So
the bubble of the roster.
Because the Bills are in cap hell. That is what they are in. So these conversations need to be had. Especially, this is the easy one with the free agents. Oh, let them walk. You don't have to worry about anything. But when you're cutting people, you have to worry about salary and things along those lines still.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
That'll be interesting next week. Dread this time every podcast. We got to talk about the Sabres.
All right, I have a take.
Okay.
I know we'll get back into the down 3 next pod, but I do have a take.
Okay.
So you and I were both at the game last night.
Yes.
2-1L, 48 to I don't remember the specific shots for Dallas off the top of my head, but 48 shots for the Sabres.
Mm-hmm.
Only 1 goal. So.
The third period for me was spent getting certificates for my younger siblings for their first game. And
oh, is that where you were? I was stalking you, but I knew where you were, and I was like, I don't think Joe's in his seat.
No, I was not in my seat.
48 to 30.
Most of the third period was not, so I was away.
I've already made the take that I think sarcastically cheering is significantly funnier than doing.
Yeah, right. Yes. The producer's dying right now. I'm ready for this. What's going on?
Can't stand. It pisses me off. I'm sorry for my language. When people just scream, "Shoot the puck."
That's what was happening behind me too,
dude. Oh my god,
that was
like
disgusting.
I almost turned around at one point. And I was like, "Bro, they have 37 shots. We're like 45 minutes. We have 15 minutes left in the game. They have 37 shots. They have 1 goal. Like, I don't know. Maybe they should actually like overpass and like get a good look. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sorry. That's where like sometimes the shot and goals could be a little misleading. Sometimes it's because like the game was probably maybe. I still think it favored the Sabres, but it was probably a little bit closer than like the attempts and the shots were because I think Dallas gave them better opportunities. But it's like, oh my god, every 2 seconds it was like, shoot the puck.
Yeah, I was there with my girlfriend Morgan too. Behind us, it sounded like a rugrat. Like this woman just screaming, "Shoot the puck!" I'm like, "Come on, what are we doing here?" And then like, "Let's go Buffalo!" I'm like, "What are you talking about? They're in the defensive zone. Like UPL's getting killed in there right now. Like, what are we talking about?" He actually had a great game.
Yeah,
he was the bright spot.
Well, they had. I thought Cousins and Dahlin actually had a really good game too as well.
They did. Dahlin was about to break his stick over his neck about 8 times.
Yeah, in play. During play.
No, it was not a dead puck.
I just like. It was like actually when they scored too, it was like the person was like screaming, "Oh, shoot it!" when Dahlin had it from the point. I was like, why are we normalizing
shoot the puck
crappy point shots as shooting the puck?
Yeah,
like, that's not like
it's not.
It's like,
and here's the thing too,
awful.
People do that with every sport. Basketball, outside half court, shoot the ball. No, like we don't want. Like, what are we talking about?
I haven't been to that. The last time I went to a basketball game was a you.
Yeah, we went and saw Niagara storm the court against Marist. So that was crazy. Yeah,
beating a team that they're ahead of the standings, I think.
Yeah,
but I did. It's very similar to as the producer is flipping us off.
No, it's just
you know what's similar to
what?
And it bothers me. I might get flamed for this. Going to Bills game, and every time there's a penalty on the Bills,
what is that?
People just complain. It's like
it's clearly pass interference on Dane Jackson.
Yeah.
Like there's no question about it.
It's like
come on.
What are we doing here? Like that was holding.
Yeah. He's got his hand in his jersey. That's holding.
I understand. Like
if there's no penalty and there should have been, that's okay.
As fandom, we're not going to be objective all the time, but it's like it would be refreshing to not have to go to a Sabres game when just like. I
don't know. We've heard another one when you and I went one time. Grab his blanket, twist it.
Yeah.
Not going to let that rep on the pod, but geez, that was another one just annoying, wouldn't stop behind us. It makes you really want to just get up and just say something back to them. I really do. But I held it in.
And you're both Sabres fans, but it's like, are you really going to argue with that? But I was like, I don't know, man. Like, this is kind of like, it was bothering me. Like, I'm bringing it up right now. Like nearly 24 hours later, like, it was really bothering me. I was like, dude, like, I am watching the game, and every time there's a pass in the zone, the person could be like one stride into the zone. It's like, shoot the puck. It's like, dude, Jake Ottinger is like on fire. Like, we're just gonna pepper him with like uncontested point shots.
That's
like,
Dahlin was hesitating to let the defense kind of clear out the area at one point, and I hear shoot it. I'm like, he just got past the blue monster. What are we talking about? It's just so ridiculous.
Oh, the best part is though, and we'll talk about the actual Sabres at this point. The best point is when they say shoot the puck. The person shoots the puck and it gets blocked.
Yes.
And they go, well, why did that happen? I was like,
because you want him to shoot the puck. Yeah, what do you want? Do you want him to block the shot or do you want him to make it? Don't shoot it.
It's like, what do you want them to? It's like, wow, like from our point of view, like it's not on ice. So like we don't know if there's someone. It's just like, it bothers that on me. But talking about the Sabres, I thought it was a good performance even though they lost. Like
It was a very boring game though. I will say that. Not a lot of action.
oh yeah.
It was tough. We've been to games where I couldn't stop standing up and freaking out because it was so high action back and forth.
You were just screaming shoot the puck the whole time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was just screaming shoot the puck the whole time. This game, I'm sitting there yesterday. It's 5 minutes
So many
into
whistles.
the third quarter. The first period. God, I'm on football like you. The first period, I'm sitting there. It's 11:49 for like 5 minutes. 11:49 left in the period. I'm like, are we stopping the game? Like, what is going on here? It felt like the second period should have been over by the time the first ended because it just kept stopping the clock. But yeah, it was a better performance from the Sabres. It was a boring performance from the Sabres because the goaltending on both sides was just decent.
Sure, I thought EPO was really solid. Obviously, Islanders still a show. I thought Darlene looked really well.
It's because he played with actual all-stars. He had to,
Yeah.
he had to play up to competition for once.
And
So
Cousins looked real. I mean, that line of Cousins, Benson, Paterka, that was the best line out of both teams. So
I saw someone walking around with an Eichel jersey with Benson taped on the back
Dang.
and the C taped over
Savage.
with white duct tape. I'm like, wow, that's awesome.
yeah, but I mean, it's February. It was February 6th. Like it's just not in the realm for moral victories. You gotta find a way to get.
You're about 10 or more games out of the playoffs.
10. They were 10 points. Yeah,
10 points. 10 points out of the playoffs.
You gotta win.
You have
You're
to
at
win.
home.
You're at home. Granted, it didn't feel like it. There were more Stars fans there than Sabres
Oh
fans.
my God, the national anthem.
Stars! Yeah, the whole time. I'm like, oh my God. Like, it's not even like we're at a home crowd.
It's like when you go to.
You can go to KeyBank as an away fan and not worry about getting mugged.
I think.
Like,
that's
come on.
Like,
Like, you know what I mean?
I do think like in hockey it's a little different than football, but sure.
You know what I mean? Like, but
No, I agree.
it's just, I don't know. It was not a great environment
But
yesterday.
two things to know, and then I have a Super Bowl thing I wanted to get to.
Okay.
And then we can leave.
Is it Brock Purdy looking like Lee Harvey Oswald? Because that came out tonight. Did you see
was
that?
funny.
Yeah, that was bad. What are they thinking? Go ahead.
Someone tweeted that was like, yeah, he's similar to him. Like he needed more than one person to help him.
Oh my God.
But Jack
Too-
Quinn out
ugh.
6 to 8 months of surgery. Really unfortunate. Kind of
LBI,
a lawsuit. Yeah, whatever that means.
lower body
Yeah,
injury.
just tell the surgeon, yeah, my LBI is out. Like,
That's all I'm gonna say.
the surgeon's like, do you mean LBS? Do you have a little butcher?
Yeah.
But that's really unfortunate. Loss for him. And then Matthias Samuelsson.
Blessing in disguise.
Upper body injury.
Yeah, UBI.
UBI.
Yeah, UBI. LBI, UBI.
Out for the year. At least we get to see Ryan Johnson now full time. I just don't know what to say about Matthias Samuelsson. Just has not been able to stay healthy. First year in of the 7-year contract. So,
Yeah.
I feel like they're just kind of stuck with that contract. Like I think that's a negative asset, for sure. And I think a lot of people expected him to maybe become the future number 3. Behind Power and Darlene. He's still a very good defensive defenseman, but like he just has never been able to pass the puck, transition the puck with any consistent success, and he doesn't provide a lot of offense. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of limited his. I think it's kind of the similar when he got drafted of saying that he was a high floor, low ceiling defenseman, and that's kind of what he's turned out to be. And listen, there's nothing wrong with being a bottom pair defenseman, and having a solid one like Samuelson's not bad, but when you can't stay healthy,
Then there's a problem.
and when you're paid like a top 4 defenseman, that's when there is a
Yeah.
that's when there's a situation.
And I remember you texted when that happened, and I immediately thought to myself, is this a blessing in disguise for those guys coming up, like Ryan
But
Johnson?
they're
and
really
all that?
bad with him. I think I'm sorry, they were really good without him.
They
It was
were.
like the inverse of last year.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. Like they were like 7-1-0 or whatever.
No, they were. They still can't do anything on the power play, though, which kind of
I thought it was better yesterday though.
A little bit.
They scored. I thought it was a little bit. And they had that one really bad moment, which is like,
Well, it's because Granado's got the little bug in his ear saying, you're going to be fired, you're going to be fired, you're going to be fired, and you got to do something on the power play.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
But
So.
next game Saturday against St. Louis at home.
Mhm.
They're home against LA on Tuesday. Obviously, we have the pod Wednesday. So 2 more games. 2 games to preview. I should say not preview, to review next week.
Let's not even pick,
No.
keep not picking, but let's hope for a win.
So to end the pod,
Super Bowl.
I'm not talking about Super Bowl.
Okay.
The Super Bowl theme,
Okay.
because we talked a little bit about before this about Super Bowl squares.
Yes.
I think they're the most gambling I do. Like,
Mhm.
I guess you could consider them gambling, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
no,
you're-
you are taking a gamble. You're putting money on the line, and you get a payout if you win, but if not, you lose your money. Yeah.
So I have 2 questions.
Okay.
What is the worst combination of numbers Like if you like the person sends like, hey, happy Super Bowl Sunday, like this is the squares, and it's like your two numbers. What do you like?
3-3.
Really?
I'm eking at that.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, so the Chiefs and 49ers are high-scoring teams. I'm using this year as an example.
Okay.
Odds are there's going to be more than 3 points each scored in the first quarter or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that. That's
it could be 3-3.
Yeah, it could be, but like the chances are low with these two teams the way they score.
I guess that,
you know what I mean? Like that's kind of.
I guess 3-3 isn't a great. I don't know. I don't know about that, man. Actually, I don't think
You like 3-3? You want 3-3?
I'm not saying I enjoy having
5-5 is terrible. Producer just threw up 2 5s. That's bad.
5-5 is the 5-5 is actually the worst one.
6-6, that'd be terrible too.
No, 6-6. You can get to 6-6. 16-16.
Just 2 field goals.
16-6.
5-5 is terrible.
5-5 is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Anything.
3-3, I'm still kind of mad. That might just be me, but I don't know.
Anything that isn't like easily divisible, like any number like that isn't a combination of numbers that isn't divisible by 7 or 3 is trash.
5.
Like 5, not a great number because your only option really to get to 5 is 35. But if it's 35-35, that's a high scoring game.
Yeah.
Again, there's not a lot of options. Like 9, not a great number because either you get 3 field goals, maybe you get lucky with a PD. But if you just say it's 7 and 3 points the whole time, like that's a trash number. Like that's trash. 2 is bad. 2 is a terrible number. Because
you need safety.
2 is bad. 12 isn't good because that's 4 field goals. I know you can make it, but like 22 isn't good. 32 ain't good. 42 is 6 touchdowns. That's rare in a Super Bowl. So like,
hey, the Bills got that against the Titans last year.
I think individually 2 is awful. You know what's really underrated? 0. I think 0 is the best number.
Right, 20.
I just think 0 is
anything.
0.
Yeah,
0.
No points. Yeah,
like having 0 in your thing is like that's amp. Because you start off a winner.
Yeah, if they don't if there's no scoring first quarter and you got zeros in the first, that's kind of a win there.
And then my second kind of question, what is your optimum breakdown of the pot? Like some people like it first, second, third are all like I'm just paraphrasing numbers here, but all 3 are 100 and then the fourth quarter is 200. Right? Some people like it as like the first quarter is 75, the third quarter is 75, but halftime's 100, fourth quarter is 200. So like it's more for halftime compared to that one. Some people also include at the end like $25 for like the inverse. So like if the score ended 26-13, but you had the opposite total, you get $25 at the end. Like you get inverse.
I like that. That I do like.
But what is your optimum breakdown?
I kind of like it where it all culminates in the fourth quarter.
You're just like all for the line.
Yeah.
Kind of like you get a solid payout for the first, second, third, but like it doesn't matter which quarter you win.
Yeah.
But like fourth quarter is like you gotta win this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at. That's how I've always done it, I guess. You know, I've never really tried any other way.
I like the other way too because like I just think halftime means a little bit more. Like I mean, halftime, your 30-minute halftime show. Like I think it means a little bit more than the first and third quarter.
Yeah. See,
the first quarter. The reason why the first quarter should always be like the lowest is because the first. I mean, obviously it's only 50 minutes in the game, but it's so if you get a bad number, like it's so clunky to get like that. Like if you get like a 5, like as we just said, like there's no way in the first quarter there's gonna be somehow unless there's a safety and a field goal. Like there's no way you're gonna get like 5. Like any, you know what I mean? Like that's just a bad number.
No, you're absolutely right. I agree. I'll have to try it the other way. My family though at halftime, our big thing we do a Texas Hold'em tournament. So like we got the 10 of us. That's more what we're focused on at halftime. Because then we etch names into trophies and stuff.
So you gamble and then you really gamble.
Yeah, and then we give the fantasy trophy away, all that. That's kind of the Super Bowl squares take a second heat at halftime. So that's why just normal until the fourth quarter works with me. Yeah. You know, I like that. But
then what's your You said $5 would be your optimum price, right?
5 for 1, 2 for 10, like that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
You just would be putting $10 in. Yeah. I think the max is like 10 a square. Like 10 a square would be like my max.
Depends on how big the pot is for 10 a square. Like if there's a lot of people doing it in the pots. I mean,
if it's 10 a square, you would think that they would fill up all.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying if it's 10 a square, you think they
like you don't need 2 people. You don't need to do like 2 for 10 to fill up the board. Like the board will be filled 1 for 10. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure, I guess you could do 2 for
like
20,
in a bigger pool. Yeah, some like.
But like if you just put $10 in for 1 square and everyone else finds a way to, even if it's not 100 people, like it gets all filled. That's $1,000.
Yeah,
well, that's a pretty significant payout.
Yeah. I got to start doing those. I got a bunch of texts about Super Bowl squares, even you before the show asked. So
I know. Yeah.
we got to get that going. But let us know how you do Super Bowl squares. Let us know in the comment section, or
Also, let us know on like fun topics to rant about, like with the Bills kind of
taking the back seat
we
right
got
now.
lucked out again today that like they had news. We're kind of trying to manufacture content, and the Sabres. Just kind of really depressing to talk about, but like
last year, this time the Sabres could carry a full episode. Not this year.
Heck, I think we just talked about Super Bowl scores for like the last so anything like sports related. That's just like I know we in the beginning of the pod, as many listeners know, we talked for boxing, but none of us, not either Joe and I, are, like could carry a conversation in boxing, but we could carry a conversation in other sports. So
yeah,
let us know.
Let us know. We're gonna get some guests on too. If you have any guests you'd like us to try and get, let us know. We are in the off season. It is crazy. We're feeling it. We'll feel it after the Super Bowl too. We have a Super Bowl pregame show coming to you this weekend, so we're excited to do that. Hopefully, one of these years we get to do one with the Bills in it, but that's neither here nor there.
Hopefully, we get to do a betting on the Bills. Come on, Joe.
What?
A betting on the Bills episode
for the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
like that would be great to carry a betting on the Bills the entire season instead of stopping
after the division.
yeah. So we'll see if that happens in years to come. We'll have to wait and see, but. You can hear everything right here on the Buffalonian Podcast today. We're just trying out the new equipment. Hope you liked it. We're going to keep it going, keep upgrading, keep going. And, we hope you stick around for the off season because, as we all know, it can be tough around here with the depressing Sabres. But anyway, that's going to do it for this edition of the Buffalonian Podcast. I'm Joe Cali. As always, I'm joined by Dom Loss. Thank you to our producer, Mooch, for everything you do behind the scenes. Dom, how do you always end these, buddy?
Go Bills, baby.
Go Bills. Catch you before Super Bowl Sunday.